You don't have a software, tool, or subscription problem. You have a communication problem. Some of you are paying hundreds of dollars a month for tools that don't talk to each other. This creates what is called a ghost in the machine, an invisible clog that prevents data from working on your behalf. When your software doesn't communicate, you become the integration, the plug, if you will. You are effectively paying to be a data entry clerk in your own business. Join me for an elite workshop, The Ghost in the Machine. No, this is not a software demo. This is an architectural strategy session. We're going to whiteboard your entire tech stack, from lead capture to fulfillment, and expose exactly where your system is dying. Don't have a tech stack or know what that is? If you're in business for yourself in 2026, you need to. So I know I'll see you there. Together, we'll identify the manual tasks clogging your system and replace them with silent solutions. You don't need more apps, you need architecture. Click the link to secure your briefing. It's time to connect the dots.
Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
In a world full of hunger, growing up on stomach pains, trying to make it over puddles and avoid the dirty stains of the streets where the rain drinks more than just your pain, and everything you have to lose is everything you have to gain. It's a battle for your mind, for your soul, for your time. Either stay down in the mud or jump back up, get on the grind, trying to catch up in a race where you started from behind, so removed from the lead that you can't even see the line. And the ones who say they love you, the same ones who hold their hand from extending you the kindness that you needed to withstand. The same ones walking blindly with contempt for fellow man. They don't lose a wink of sleep, even when they leave you stranded. Fuck them all, just in tall, never mind if you fall. Every hustler takes a L, without those you can't ball. It's a dirty, dirty dance, roll the dice, take that chance. Gotta tighten up your pants to stay a victim of circumstance. Opportunity comes at a glance, get to stepping like a band. If it's school, rap or dance, it don't matter, get your band to the sky up if it takes that to help you feel fly. Who am I to tell you not to when I'd rather see you try? It's a blackout to America, so I'm forced to make these choices. Ramen noodles or the bills while others riding Rolls Royce. And then claim to be their leaders, whole time ignore their voices. Time to pay us what you owe us, these are just your first invoice. I suggest you pay up quickly, we are not that good at waiting. We have been too fucking patient, US government is Satan. And the victory was ours, you can quit the time wasting and the stalling, cause it's time Babylon should get to falling. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think by now we all know who the enemy is, right? And we all see who the enemy is, right? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so it's not a person working next to the job. Probably ain't the person that lives down the street from you. Not to say it ain't some weirdos in all these places that need to get addressed, need to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, man. We got a unique situation with my kid, when your kid, when they look back at our generation, what they gonna see? What they gonna see? A whole bunch of coulda, woulda, shoulda ass motherfuckers? Or they gonna look back and say, hey, I'm on my daddy's part of that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come from that. One more thing I've got to mention. If you listen, I hope you listening. We cannot ignore our kitchen, cause it's full of dirty dishes. We need mothers to be mothers, so our children can be children. We need fathers to be fathers, lead them right and give them wisdom, so our dreams can be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian, don't just talk it, you should live it. So I'm asking you, what would you do if on you this depended? For our dreams to be reality, not just a bunch of wishes. Figure it out.
Let me hold on. Here we go. What's going on, YouTube? It is he is I. You know me, your homie, your brother from another mother, the one and only, Mr. Legit Hustle. And I just want to take a second to welcome you to my channel. If you've never tuned in to one of my Legit Motivation live streams, thank you for tuning in for the first time. I've been getting some pretty good traction on my videos, and that has been without me being on camera. But I think now I finally got my stream settings and whatnot where I need them to be so that I can actually be on camera with the presentation. So right now everything is going good, and we're gonna keep it like that. I got some new things going on right now. Hopefully the music is playing. I can't really hear it on my end, but hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy some background music while I actually present this information. And for those of you who have tuned in to Legit Motivation previously, you know I represent FBA, and I try to make sure that I speak not only to my people when I do my live streams, but also for my people, largely by the way that I present myself, whatever level of professionalism I might display, or whatever the case may be. You know, I try to make sure that I represent for us in a way that we could be proud of. But I don't typically address my content directly to FBA, right? So this is a new type of presentation for me. And to be absolutely 100 about it, it really just was like, from paying attention to what's going on right now around us, tuning in to various live streams, excuse me, engaging with you all, with the fam in the chat. I feel like this is a moment where those of us who have things to say, to speak to each other and on behalf of each other, that now is the time to do that, right? That now is the time to seize that moment, that opportunity. Because I think, as do a lot of you, you feel this is a unique moment in time. This is a unique moment in our history. The things that have taken place here recently in the last few years, as far as us, as far as the lineage, as far as the reparations movement goes, as far as all of those topics, like the progress that has been made, you know, it's been significant, and we know it and we see it, right? But it made me wonder, are we actually looking at the whole thing, and do we realize exactly how many tools we have at our disposal to achieve that thing that our ancestors fought for, that we have continued to fight for, beyond quote unquote equality in this country, right? Liberation, like true freedom, especially financial, especially economic. So that's what this presentation is about. This is about seizing the moment, seizing the opportunity. I thought of 3 elements that we have at our disposal right now as a people that we are using and we should all be familiar with at this point. In fact, I know we will be as we go through the presentation. But there are ways that we can connect these elements that we're familiar with that can not only create new opportunities for us, but fortify the progress that we have made up to this point. All right. So we're going to focus on just 3 pillars. This isn't me saying that I have all the answers or this is the definitive plan that we should be doing. This is just my input to the conversation as far as what we have at our disposal and some ways that maybe we can look at things to move us forward or solidify the progress that we've made even further, right? So I'm going to talk about the 3 elements that I wanted to contribute to the conversation in the way that I wanted to contribute that. So that's what this is. So this one is specifically for the fam. If you're not FBA, if you don't know what that is, I already know why you wouldn't. But if you don't, that's fine. You're welcome to listen, but this is a conversation for the fam. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the 3 pillars of liberation that I want to speak about for us is FBA, because we're not talking about a distant dream anymore, right? We're not talking about some abstract point in time in the future that we might be able to do certain things. I'm talking about how we can interconnect these 3 elements that we already have in place in a way that will further advance, in my opinion, the effort, the work that we put in as a collective, right? The first is technical capability. I'm talking about things when it comes to infrastructure, finance, education, more, but I'm just going to stick with those 3 for this presentation: infrastructure, finance, and education. And the technical capability that we have to use that element in the furtherance of the movement, right? In the furtherance of not just the present goals and objectives of us as FBA, but also into the future for expansion and other things that will come along, right? So in addition to technical capability, there's political awareness and power. Looks like my stream is tripping. I don't know. I hope it's not buffering too bad on you guys. And if it is, I apologize. But we're gonna keep it moving like everything's smooth, you know? So political awareness and power, right? That strategic leverage and the grassroots organizing strength that we have, that we've demonstrated, right? And the way we've addressed things that were important to us as a collective. As I said, especially the last few years, the groundwork that's been laid, the steps that have been taken by so many of us, especially those of, us that have really big voices out here and have been putting in work for an amount of time. I'm new to this, so my voice isn't that big out here, but I still want to say something on it. And I watch a lot of you guys. Shout out to a lot of the people that I rock with. Shout out to Tariq. Shout out Professor Black True. Shout out Jason Black, Lisa Cabrera. Who else? Lady Boulay. Of course, Black Alpha, Afro Elite. And everybody over there, man. Church of Black Power, Black Truth United. Shout out to everybody, man. So many others that I haven't really had a chance to tune in to yet. But it's a lot of us out here that's contributing to the conversation, right? So we know that we have leverage. We've demonstrated strength through organization. And then we also have demonstrated not only that we're aware of, but taking steps to make sure we maintain cultural ownership. right? We value, we appreciate, we acknowledge, and we're keenly aware as a unit of all the things that our people, our culture has contributed, not just to America, but to the world. We know that. And we've taken steps to make sure that we maintain ownership of our culture, right? That's huge. So let's get into some details about these particular 3 elements. The technical capability, the infrastructure that we control. Not only do we have direct access to the platforms that we're using currently, like right now, YouTube, social media, having podcasts and streaming platforms, independent news, the rise and establishment over probably the last strongly 15, maybe even 20 years at this point, of the new Black media. We've already demonstrated that capability, right? So we're familiar with using these platforms. Now, specifically, my business as a web developer is I build platforms, right? I build apps. I build web apps. I design apps for businesses specifically. So I am even more intimately aware of what we could do to even expand upon the media capabilities that we have. It is very easy now because of the technical capabilities that we have access to truly develop our own independent media. We don't have to use the big platforms if we don't want to. We can build our own. It ain't, I won't say it's not hard. That's coming from a guy who works in web development, but it's not really as complicated as many people might think. We have all that at our disposal right now. That would have been like if back during civil rights, or even before that, if we really had this type of presence in media before. Just imagine what our ancestors and our elders could have accomplished had they had access to this type of reach at will. I can jump on here pretty much whenever I want to. You can jump online pretty much whenever you want to, and at will, you can reach out and speak to the people, whoever that people may be, whatever the topic may be about. That is a unique point in time. We have never had this type of reach. Now with the technical capabilities, having the infrastructure in place, we are actually already have access to all the means that we need to actually have a truly 100% independent media. It just depends on the will of us as a people, right? It's there, it exists. We could wean ourselves off of these other platforms, or we could just simply build an outside one that we own and control, but that we also integrate with and network with other platforms, because honestly, in web development, that's what we do, right? You build applications and you build platforms, and in 2026, all of them can talk to each other. Every app that I design and build, even just for myself to use or for a client to use, can actually communicate with everything else, right? It's the nature of the business. They all can talk to each other. So this gives us an infrastructure for mass communications that, again, like I said, it's a fundamental shift for us, because now we have the capability to totally control the narrative about ourselves, not being represented or spoken for, especially on the world stage, because so much about life, especially business, at this point is global. Even if you're not doing international business, there's always the capability to do it. So that makes the economy much more global than it used to be in the past, right? Just having the capability of doing that. So that means that not only can we speak for ourselves to America, to the nation, and represent ourselves and control that narrative, but that determines how we are presented to the world, right? That controls and shapes the narrative and the perspective of how people outside of America view us. And we all know how our reputation and our name has been tarnished by the so-called powers that be, characterized, stereotyped, stigmatized, infiltrated, poisoned. We know, if nobody outside of America knows what we have as a community have endured, we know. We're intimately aware of it, right? So being able to speak for ourselves and actually control the narrative is huge in fighting that. And that's what we've been doing, right? But again, I'm a web developer. We have the capabilities at our disposal, as I said, to build our own independent social platforms. We can build our own independent streaming platform. We can do all of that right now. It's just the collective will of us as a people and having a framework and a structure to do it through. And I'm not promoting or advocating for myself to be that person or the go-to or anything, because there are many brothers and sisters like me out there who work in this field that are FBA, that are from the turf, grassroots, that also work in this field. A lot of computer science majors. Just think about how many people have graduated from HBCUs and other colleges. How many of us with degrees? I didn't get into development through college. I went back to school about a year or so ago. But prior to that, everything I know about coding and developing, I taught myself over many years, So I went back to school to get the official background information about development that when you're self-taught, you can't teach yourself because you don't know you need to know it, right? So I went back to school for that background information in development. But as far as building out platforms and apps, and yeah, we already, there are many of us like me, many of you out there can do this. You're familiar with coding. You know how to use low code or no code platforms. You know about building sequences. You know about automations. You know about AI integrations, right? So we have the talent. We have the capability through technology. It's just up to us to harness the will as a people to actually do it. And we can do it. Financial capability, new systems. Right now, because of the technical infrastructure that the modern business world is built upon, do you realize that we have the capability to build a totally alternative economic foundation for ourselves, right? And it starts with DeFi and blockchain. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I'm not talking about crypto. I'm not advocating crypto investing or crypto trading. I'm talking about blockchain, the technology that crypto is built upon. And for those who may not be as familiar with tech and development as people like myself that work in the industry, that work in that field, I'm gonna share some things with you. Okay, this is a book that I ordered off of Amazon. See if the camera can pick it up. But I ordered this book probably about 3 years ago now. And the title of it is The Private Equity Digital Operating Partner, Using Digital Transformation for Value Creation. The reason I want to share this book with everybody, and again, if you want to check it out, I got this off of Amazon. The biggest advancements, and right now the biggest trend in blockchain is not crypto. That's the most well known, right? The actual unknown, less known use of the blockchain is for digitizing real world assets. So now you have large companies, BlackRocks, and a lot of these other large corporations and hedge funds, but not only them, other smaller corporations and LLCs, my size, your size, smaller, bigger, whatever, are using blockchain as a place to create and store value. That ability for it to create and store value off of real world assets. You can digitize real estate. There are people who have digitized physical gold, so you can buy digital fractions of physical gold and go redeem it at various locations around the country for actual physical gold, right? So the tokenization, I should say, not digitization, but the tokenization of real world assets. This book in particular talks about doing it with private equity. Private equity is for those of us that own small corporations, C or S corps, especially in particular, some that has shares, right? But you can do it with an LLC or probably even certain partnerships. But for wealth building, for the storage of wealth and value, that is the modern trend of tokenizing real world assets. And you don't have to be some multi-billion-dollar corporation to do that. You can do that with copyrights, any intellectual properties that you have as a small business or entrepreneur or content creator. You can actually tokenize the copyrights to that content and store the value of it on the blockchain. That is a way that, unbeknownst to many of us, that's what a lot of big companies do now. They are tokenizing real world assets, land. You see them buying up all this land. What are they doing with it? They're tokenizing it. They're storing the wealth of it on the blockchain. We can do that as well. You can do that as a individual, as a person. You can do that as a small business. You can do it as a content creator. We have that capability right now that can give us access and transparency and security. If you know about the blockchain, then you know about secure contracts and writing secure contracts and why they are secure contracts. So we have financial capability and systems at our disposal that if we link these things together, again, we have at our disposal the means to gain that thing that our ancestors fought for, our elders have fought and died for. We have the means right now. And we are doing the things that we should be doing. But there are ways that we could also benefit by connecting these elements together, right? Self-education. Online schooling is a total legitimate thing. Again, the technology and infrastructure allows us to legitimately have our own education, even if it's just for you as a family, private. There have been laws passed in the last few years that have tried to secure, and I'm not advocating for any of those things. So I'm not familiar enough with them to know whether they're helping anyone right now currently or not. But I know there have been laws passed in the last few years that have advocated for the rights of parents to determine their children's education, their curriculum, and new things that you can do as far as homeschooling or collectively schooling as a community. The technology exists, right? We could have so many of our really, really, really valued teachers and voices in our community we can plug them into the classrooms like a Zoom call. What would it mean to have, you know, some of the people in our community that we all listen to on a regular basis able to tap in and speak directly to us and our children on a regular basis, because we have our own educational platforms, our own places where we can congregate online and we can determine what the conversation is there, what gets taught and what's being done and what's not being done. That's right now, right? Whether it's financial literacy, entrepreneurship, which is my thing, right? I come from the each one teach one era, and I still believe that. When it comes to my YouTube channel and my content, I don't really do content in order to get views. There have been a couple times where I've tried to do like trendy topics and talk about things that I see other people talking about. But for me personally, when there's a lot of people talking about a subject, I don't really feel the need to add my voice to it. There's already enough people talking about it. Now, there are things that are important enough, not everything, right? So I kind of stick with what I talk about, which is motivational content, business related content, entrepreneurial related content, things that benefit us as business people, entrepreneurs. Sharing whatever knowledge, whatever game it is I can from my experiences and the different resources and sources that I've learned from and gone through in my life. I can share that with especially the younger generation, right? So that's why I make sure that when it comes to like these presentations, I make sure I mean it, they're always going to be free for people. Like, so any of the presentations I do, even this one, will be available for you again on the website at 𝐿GH&x for free. So you can go through it. All the references that we're going to discuss are cited in here, down at the bottom of the presentation as well. If you want to look up anything that I quote in this presentation as we move forward, I've included the resources in this one because I feel like this is a conversation. I knew this was a conversation that was, if I was going to speak on this topic publicly like this, that it needed to be done right and it needed to be done credibly, right? And so I made sure that I added references and citations. And I'm in school, so I know about APA citations and shit. So I tried to make sure I did it as credibly as possible, right? So everything that we're going to discuss in here is about credible, right now, logistics and capabilities that we can integrate and use and build upon to not only capture the current moment, but also to continue to maintain the momentum that we've built and continue to build upon those things, right? So the second element was political awareness and power. We have learned our leverage. We've seen through election cycles and social commentary and social media campaigns on various topics. We've seen that we have collective power. We have collective leverage that we can use, right? A lot of us have changed our voting habits. You may have changed parties, or you may have done like me and just consistently vote for the couch. Because I ain't heard nobody talk about nothing that was important to my people. So I ain't felt the need to come holler at nobody about nothing to support them, you know? But we know our power now. We've seen it. We've seen it in action, right? We've seen what it's like when we get on somebody's head. When we don't like something, if FBA ain't feeling it, you see how it go, right? So there are things that we can do to extend that political capital, to build upon it even further as we continue upon this delineation journey that has been so amazing to behold. You know, the definition that comes along with defining ourselves, saying that we're FBA, not what nobody else called us, no labels that no one else put on us. And the fact that this is about our lineage. That clarity that we put out there, that so many of you have put out there through your messages, through your content, has not only exposed the leverage that we have, but it has also helped to create it and continue to build it up. We know who we are, we know what we need, we know how to get it done, and we got the means to communicate with each other right now. Right? We're in control of the ship. We driving the boat. We flying the plane. And we can see it. Grassroots power. We know right now we don't have any representatives in the government speaking for us. We know them people is not our friends, right? We already know this. As a whole, we already know this. As a collective, as individuals, we know we don't got no friends in the government. But because the grassroots is so well established at this point, and because we have the mechanisms and the means to control the narrative about ourselves and communicate not just with each other, but with the world, that grassroots ability and capability will lead to the proper representation developing, coming from the grassroots. We have different people that I've come across, and some of you all know better than I do personally. You know, we got people from the lineage. We got a lot of FBA brothers and sisters out there that's making their moves through various, not just political affiliations, but community organizations, nonprofits and things like that, right? So the better and more soundly that we gel and solidify as a unit, the cream rises to the top, as they say, right? So it's naturally gonna develop and propel certain voices forward. That because we know where they come from and we know what they're about, we know what they're standing on, we're comfortable to stand behind those individuals. So naturally, proper representation is already underway. That's a foregone conclusion, right? Bottom up, not from the top down. We don't need none of their people from over there talking about speaking for us. We don't need none of that no more. We got our own people that can speak for us, that we'll trust to carry that message forward to whoever need to hear it, right? So as that recognition and that power grows, that leadership will grow. That will further reflect our values, our priorities, our shared experiences, rather than the stereotypes and bullshit and negative and outright lies that we and our ancestors and our elders have endured for so long on this land, right? I'll be the first to admit that I was always kind of curious about politics, and I tuned in from time to time when I was younger, you know, early 20s, mid 20s. I would watch the news and I would pay attention. I would read newspaper articles. I thought I was informed, right? Like many of you did. Now at 46, I know that all of those sources were tainted, right? We gained some information, but we also had a lot of technology in there, a lot of lies, a lot of propaganda, a lot of psyopish material going on, lies being told about us, lies being told to us, right? personally, I have learned so much and have gained such a deeper understanding of exactly what politics is, not what I thought politics was, but exactly what politics is and community activism really is over the last few years because of our media, because of our sources, because of our voices. I've really actually learned about politics, right? That education came not from a state-funded school, not from an HBCU, not from an Ivy League school or some private education. It came from you guys on YouTube, Facebook. So that political education is valuable capital for us. The ability to teach ourselves and our children and our offspring and our families, the ability to train ourselves and to mobilize, not just vote, not just what do you call it, advocate for some candidate or whatever out here stumping for them, not being a shield, right? I'm talking about mobilization capability. That political education that we have been providing, and I can say we now, I guess, because I'm on YouTube now, I guess, which some of that I still ain't really used to, but that's another conversation. So I think I'll feel better by saying the political education that you guys have given, the people that I watch on a regular basis, that I watched for years. You guys have taught and demonstrated that as a people, we know how to handle not just power, but maybe even more importantly, authority, how to structure things, how to run things, how to build things at all levels of it. We have people within the grassroots who have accomplished these things and contributed to the whole at every level, whether it's just in some local city or town that you or I have never heard of and maybe never will, all the way up to people who represent us on the national and international stages right now. And I'm talking about that speak on political issues, that educate not just the world about us, but us about the world at all those levels. I know it felt like a time when growing up in the South, I didn't have access to a lot of the teachers and elders that some of you all did in your earlier years. Like, I didn't know about a Dr. Ben or Dr. John Henry Clark or Claude Anderson or I can't believe I forgot the sister name, Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, and others. Even the Professor Griffson, all those guys, like, I got access to those voices when I was already grown. I was in my mid-20s when I started listening to that. Some of you guys were around that education, that era, much earlier than I was. But thanks to platforms like that, with some of you guys who hopefully will see this have, and the information that you've been contributing to the conversation that you've been putting out there, that gap that I know it felt like existed for some years for us as a people, like, where was those new voices gonna come from? Where were those new teachers gonna come from? All of us don't have the time or the means to put in the studying geopolitics every day, but we need to know about it, right? So somebody has to do that. We have those voices again, and now they're even more widespread than those elders and those ancestors of ours that we all love and look up to so much. some of y'all voices are much, much larger than theirs ever were. Right now. We can build, we can develop, we can train, we can teach, we can move, we can organize, we can mobilize politically, right? Wisely, smartly, not ignorantly, because we have such good political educators right now, the brothers and sisters out here that keep us updated with geopolitical topics and subjects, you know, and that do it with integrity. So shout out to all y'all. Now, the third element was cultural ownership. And again, I know this is something that everybody watching this already knows. Y'all know how we are about our culture. Y'all seen what we've done. Y'all seen how we've stood up, stood on 10. Those of us that's solid about this thing. Whether it was in the streets, at the barbershop, at the gym, or on a podcast before the nation, before the world. We value, we love our culture, and we understand the influence that it has globally and the economic value that it has. But more importantly, perhaps, is also knowing how that value has historically been extracted from us. It's one of the largest reasons, if not the largest reason, for the wealth gap that exists between us and other groups in America. Our culture has provided so much economic might and value to the nation, to the world, that collectively, we should probably be the wealthiest people on earth just off of that alone. But as we know, historically, that wealth has been extracted from and not been allowed to be retained in our communities, not been allowed to be retained inside our families and passed down. Right? The world builds, profits, grows off our culture, not even being really from it. But then we get the smallest piece of the wealth of it, the economic value of it, right? And our knowledge and recognition of that, in my opinion, has been a large part of the reason that we have stood down so firmly when it comes to gatekeeping our culture and determining who is and who ain't and who can and who can't speak for us. Right? Again, like I said earlier, when it came to controlling the narrative, not having people that don't truly represent you or your people's views, so-called speaking for you, while at the same time digging their hand in your pocket while you're not looking and stealing what's rightfully yours. Being vampires, you know the term, culture vultures. Can't create it, can't make it, can't do it, can't be it. So rather than showing appreciation for that culture that we lend them, they just steal it from us. All the, not just music, cooking, trends, things that actually move the economic needle for specific brands even. I remember years ago I did a presentation. I think it was at Job Corps, if I'm not mistaken. And I was talking to some young people about the fact that these brands will pay entertainers from our community money to say their brand. right? Before we all knew about brand ambassadors and those kind of deals, they was already getting paid to do that. A lot of these brands are what they are and have become what they have become, thanks pretty much only to the input of our culture. Luxury brands that we have no equity in, that wouldn't be worth shit if it wasn't for the use of our culture, if it wasn't for the use of our sounds. I remember when I was growing up, you watch a football game. When I was a little boy, you watching a football game in the living room, whatever, on a Sunday. The music on the commercials always sounded like some country music or some rock music, right? It was heavy metal, it was Aerosmith, it was Guns N' Roses type of sound, or it was Johnny Cash, or it was that kind of sound when it came to advertising. When I was a little dude, I'm 46. I was born in 79, so I'm talking about in the early mid 80s, late 80s. That was the sound of advertising, of commerce in America. By the time I got married at the age of 27, the sound of commerce and advertising in America was trap beats. Instead of Johnny Cash, it was T.I. But did we as a culture, did we as a whole, did any of that advertising might, did any of that advertising power, did any of that economic wealth that we make collectively, it's not about the entertainer, they just somebody that we as a whole say, yeah, that person cool. Yeah, we fuck with that person as a rapper or whatever. We approve of them. It's not the other way around, right? But how much that wealth has ever trickled down or made any kind of movement in our communities, on our level, in real life. Right? That don't happen. That's just been wealth extraction. All these external entities monetizing off our stories, our struggles, our innovations, our styles, our lingo, our eating habits, our tastes. Where's the wealth from that? Imagine if like 1,000 of us FBAs went to, say, Denmark, right? And we went to Denmark and we learned all this stuff about their culture, right? That people over here had no knowledge about. And then we came home and we packaged it up and we sold it to everybody like it was our creation, and we never acknowledged Denmark. Do you think Denmark will let us get away with that? Do you think anybody who knows about that culture that we stole that from would let us get away with just jacking somebody else's shit like that and rocking out like it's ours, like we did it? Would any other group of people do that? But yet it seems like we're expected to sit back and be cool with our culture being looted. Nope. We switched that up. Now we get it. We know the name of the game, right? So now it's about cultural ownership. And we snatch that back. We taking control of our culture. We say who is and who ain't. We say who can and who can't speak. We'll go down how much money they put behind their marketing budget, how hot they try to make us think the song, trend, dance, movie, whatever it is. Nah, man. Nah, we snatch that back. We control that. Give me that. You know? Like a perfectly timed Deion Sanders interception back in the day. Yep, took that. So that's what it is. That's what cultural ownership has looked like for us as FBA over the last few years. Cutting out exploitation and being cool and being proud and not being ashamed. Yep, we gatekeeping. Yeah, we saying who can and who can't. Yep, because it's ours and we have the right to do that. We don't need copyrights on paper or on file with the federal government or no state to say it's ours. It's ours. We took that back. And we're going to keep standing on that, right? And that's all things that we have accomplished in a very, very short amount of time. But there are ways that we could expand that. A lot of you guys have intellectual property. You have valuable things. Even your content that you put out on public platforms, there's still intellectual value in that content. Do you know how to protect your copyrights? Do you know how to monetize? You know how to expand? Do you know how to grow the value of those rights? Economic reciprocity. We can make sure that the value, the wealth of our culture, be it financial, emotional, psychological, spiritual, on whatever level, we can ensure that the value stays with us, stays within our community, the people where it rightly belongs, the people who actually create and represent for the culture. I'm not talking about entertainers, and I'm not talking about just music or entertainment. I'm talking about the minds, the thought leaders, the intellectual leaders, the entertainers, the business leaders, the organizational leaders, the 9-to-5 job workers. I'm talking about everybody that's from the culture, because it belongs to all of us, right? So delineation and gatekeeping, the way we have been, has made sure that we can keep all that value, all that wealth that has always been our culture. We can keep it at home where it belongs. So another thing is about legacy. Honoring our elders and our ancestors and those that came before us, that laid the groundwork. Even acknowledging mistakes that may have been made or that were made, right? With no disrespect to those ones, because hindsight is always 20/20. Being able to say that, hey, y'all know what? We love our elders, we love our ancestors, but some of the decisions that was made in prior generations, no disrespect, all love. It could have been different. It should have been different. But that's in hindsight. Because if you're a parent, you know that one day those future generations are going to look right back at our moment right now, and they're going to see things that we could have and should have done better. That is the benefit of hindsight. So contrary to a lot of misconception and misbeliefs out there about what FBA is and what FBA stands for, recognizing the legacy, ensuring that people put proper respect on the names and legacies of our elders and our ancestors, that is also key to what delineation has been about. No more cosplaying our people. No more claiming credit for things that you don't deserve credit for. No disrespect to our elders, no disrespect to our ancestors will be tolerated at all, point blank, period. Whether you think they did something good or you think they did something bad, that's our conversation. And if you ain't from the turf, if you're not FBA, your voice don't matter in the conversation. Preserving, protecting that legacy. That's another thing that delineation, this movement, has made possible for us. I know a lot of y'all probably like me, watching some of the things that's going on over the last few years, especially on certain Twitter spaces and live streams. Hearing the disrespect that people have uttered out their mouths toward our people, toward us as foundational Black Americans, toward our ancestors, toward our lineage. Man, there be times when I have to just get out the chat. You know what I'm saying? I have to just put the phone down because I be wanting to get violent. I ain't even gonna lie. And there ain't nothing I can do about it because I'm just finding out about it on watching on a live stream. But the people who have committed certain things against our people, man, like I got real feelings about some of that. I got real feelings about some of that. Especially when it comes to our elders and our ancestors. Yo, you ever been bit by a dog? You ever been bit by a dog? I ain't get bit by a dog. I was playing with my dog. I had a white pit bull boxer mix named Sam back in the day. And you know, I had one of those knotted ropes, playing tug of war and shit with it, right? I'm in an apartment in the crib in Atlanta, and I'm playing tug of war with Sam with the rope. And the timing was just off when I went to like push forward to get ready to snatch the rope from her. She opened her mouth to reset her bite kind of simultaneously, and my hand ran into her open mouth, right? And she didn't even bite down on me. She ain't bite me or nothing. I hit her mouth. Man, my hand was hurt for days. I'm serious. My thumb had a purple bruise on it. She didn't even bite me. That was just me hitting her mouth. It hurt. She wasn't bleeding or nothing, so the impact of it didn't do nothing to her. But my hand was hurting for days. When I say hurting, man, I'm talking about like she had bit me. It hurt like that. A lot of people who have come over to America, they don't seem to get how infuriating it is for people to tread upon a legacy of your people when they people didn't get bit by dogs. They people not in pictures hanging from trees with people pointing up at it, smiling and celebrating. They people weren't known as gator bait. And you know what that is. And it's not just a term. I have avoided using the word tether intentionally on this live stream. But if anyone who isn't FBA sees this, how would you feel? How would you feel? Your people. See, to some of you all who isn't FBA, those are just names that you may or may not heard about in a history book. But for us, man, there was uncles, it was great uncles, it was aunts, great aunts, grandparents, great grandparents. It was family members. That struggle ain't just a far off story over there for us. That story, that struggle is a family struggle because that was our family, not y'all. So how would you feel if someone came to your home, regardless of whether you agree with us being indigenous or not, that don't fucking matter. We've been here a hell of a lot longer than you have. How would you feel if someone came to your home and disrespected your family like that? Right? It's not a play thing is what I'm trying to say. Because all of us, none of us take that lightly as FBA, as a family. We don't take that lightly. And some of us in that family, especially don't take that lightly. You know, that means something, a different kind of way for some of us. So we have been doing what we're supposed to be doing. We have a term for you, those of you all who do not know. It's called being on code. See, contrary to popular opinion, it seems, where a lot of people try to make seem be true, the FBA does not have a leader. I heard Tariq say the other day, the code is the leader. I absolutely agree. The code is the leader. Tucked inside that code, like DNA, is the lineage, but the code is the leader, right? Now, for me, I think that the code is actually truly based on our love for ourselves and for each other that we have discovered through these various means that we've been discussing, through the different voices that have come up from the grassroots level, that have, you know, made it onto much larger platforms and have much larger voices than me and people like I have. We have been on code. We don't have to have a leader. We don't need someone to tell us what to do, because every single one of us knows what it means to be Black in America. We don't need nobody to tell us about it. So when we see injustice, we don't need somebody to tell us that's injustice. We already know what it is. Because not only have we seen it before, we've lived it. One of the most sad and pathetic things, I think, for real, for me, about these current events that have currently been going on is white America lost 2 people. And before the investigation was completed, we're moving to defund a federal agency. Meanwhile, in Niggerville, we've had countless brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, uncles, aunts, friends, loved ones, children, babies. And not so much as a hate crime bill. Not so much as anything for those that claim to represent us, right? So we don't need a leader. That code, being on code, is what unites us. Knowing who we are, standing on it, knowing our history and standing on it, elevating our community, controlling the narrative, speaking for ourselves, defining ourselves, classifying ourselves, and standing on it. Yeah. That's why we move like that. Because we all know what it means. We ain't gotta have a leader. And to all my FBA brothers and sisters, I love y'all, man. Big ass salute. I'm so proud of all of us, man. That's why out of all the presentations I've done on my channel so far, I don't think I've been more excited about one than this one today. Because I'm proud of y'all. As y'all brother, whether you know me or not, man. Not Legit Hustle on YouTube, Mike. I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm proud of the fam. I feel honored to be alive during this time and be a part of this. A lot of lives been lost, a lot of blood been shed, a lot of dreams been crushed. Progress has been made, but a lot of not progress has been endured. And now we have a moment. And that's why I came up with this presentation, because this is a moment. This is something that we've all been looking forward to. The moment where we could actually be free. As free as we possibly can, with having to share the world and a landmass with people that consistently show you that they hate you. For no other reason than that you exist and that you are. Right? So even the not progress and the moments of non-progress, it wasn't because we lazy. It wasn't because we weren't on our grind. It wasn't because some of y'all wasn't already putting this information down like this. But regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, this is the moment, man. These type of statistics, gaps in wealth, home ownership, this is the moment. This is the moment we change all this. This is the time to change all this. Right now. We ain't gotta wait years into the future. We ain't gotta wait to some unknown time, or some unknown point in time. Right now, today, we can do this. We can move this. Right? That's our moment. %67% system mistrust. Now, since I had the AI pull up the research about certain numbers for this, and again, the references are at the end of the presentation, I'm gonna trust what that say. But honestly, I don't feel like none of us trust the system. I don't know who they was asking from FBA or from the Black American community about trusting the economic system and whether we think it's fair or set up for us to be able to even compete at the same level with some of our other ethnic counterparts. Hell no, man. We don't trust the system. I think that should be 100%. And I also think that for 100% of us, it's about family first. And we have shown, we have demonstrated to the world that family not just includes my biological brothers and sisters, or my biological parents, or my biological children. It includes all of y'all. Because that's what it is, FBA. We're family. That's what delineation is. Our lineage, our history, our family units, our family ties, our communities, our history. Oh, by the way, my bad. I forgot. Shout out 𝐷ewan B, man. What 𝐷ewan B does when it comes to music and history, I love music. And I've not consistently studied music history or things like that, but the times that I have had a chance to get into a documentary series back in the day from the library, or even online at times, about various figures in the cultural and historical development of our people just in the area of music in America. I've always enjoyed, you know what I'm saying, watching documentaries and things like that, and learning things like that. But what the 𝐷ewan does, the depth that I can tune in and watch my brother's show and get a level of appreciation for our people's musical, cultural contributions that I wouldn't have came across on no documentary series produced by them people. No matter how true it may have tried to be. We have people like that. We have voices out here. We're speaking for us. We're defining what success is for ourselves. And I think all of us right now, or I feel like most of you right now would agree with me when I say the time is now, man. It's our moment. I trust and believe that FBA gonna keep moving exactly like we've been moving as one. Staying on code. Staying focused. Keeping it moving. That's exactly what I think is gonna happen. And that's exactly what I'm gonna contribute to. You know? So that was why I did this presentation today. This was a conversation for me and my family and my people. And that's coming from me, your brother, Mr. Legit Hustle. That's what my channel about. This is my contribution to our movement. This is my contribution to our family. So that's another reason why I make the presentation and things free. And they are pretty dope and well researched, you know what I'm saying? Well put together. I pat myself on the back about that one. I think y'all enjoy them. So they always gonna be free. Big Dog Philly. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Thank you. Peace to you too. So yeah, man, now is the time. Right? We got the infrastructure, we got the tools, we have the political power, and we've taken back ownership of our culture, and we will continue to take back. That's ours. Missy Love. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Missy. So that's what it is, you know. Now is the time, and we can do it. We gonna do it. We've been doing it, and we gonna keep right on doing the damn thing. You feel me? So with that being said, man, I'm finna get ready to drop this because I know it's a few people that I tune into on the regular about to go live. So I'm finna end this and pull up in some chat rooms. If any other homies see this, I see you in the chat, on somebody's channel, man. But yeah, man, let's do this, man. Let's keep it moving exactly like we've been doing, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We the ones moving the needle. We the ones pushing causing the motion. We are the motion. All right. With that being said, man, I'm gonna shut this thing down. I don't know what I'm gonna ride out to today. I need something that got a little. It can't be no sad. That one too sad. All right, we're gonna do. We'll do On Your Own and Tales of a Hustler 3. We'll close up. We'll ride out with them two today. Hey man, and just so y'all know, man, I don't care if you don't like my music. I like my music because I say what I want to say and what I think needs to be said about certain shit. So I like my shit and I rock out to it. That's why I do it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make music necessarily. Matter of fact, I don't have any intentions of selling or streaming it. I've made music that says the things that I want to be said so I can play it on my channel how I want to. And it wouldn't just always be me up here talking to y'all. I'm boring you to death with my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I could actually make it a little bit more cool. All right. So with that being said, man, again, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate you being here. Much love, much respect. Big B1 certified salute to all the FBA, the whole fam, and even y'all that don't acknowledge that you're FBA right now because you got a problem with a term because you don't enter under or overstand that term. You know, shout out to you too. You know what I'm saying? Because you still fam, just that not head ass cousin that get on everybody's nerves. But I love you though. All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Have a peaceful Shabbat. Sun's almost down here in GA. So I guess I can say early Shabbat Shalom to everybody out there, man. Peace and love. Love you. Y'all the fam. We're going to rock out, man. Let's go and get into this thing. Peace.
Legit hustle. Legit hustle. Go get him, Uncle Mike.
Yeah, it's like take number 4 and shit like
Go get him, Uncle
that.
Mike.
Man, I'm just finna spit this shit. Try to keep in mind where I'm supposed to stop. It's gonna come out how it come out, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Ever move such a pace, you change your time, space, and place. Disappear without a trace. Reappear to show your face. Only time to time, cause the bottom line, you only got the time to make. Foot on the gas, don't touch the brake. Fuck if I crash, fate is fate. Most times blessings, that's your grace. Lots at stake, watch for mistakes. Treat obstacles like they steak. Heavyweight, then clean your plate. Even if you ate already. Grown man shit gets heavy. War in the streets is really up. So lock and load and aim steady. You a hustler, time to prove it. You a gangster, who you move with. Better keep an extra toolkit. Pray to God to never use it. Just a clue for all the clues. Playing dumb, but don't be stupid. Like Steph Curry off the dribble. I don't even gotta look when I shoot it. This a warning for the busters and an anthem for the hustlers. Next time you fold your bundles, just remember, hustle told you. Keep your drip right, yeah, that's Nova. Keep your coat as cold, that's polar. Put that hustle over your shoulder. Carry that bitch till it's over. Yeah. It's legit hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers only. If you out here grinding, pushing, getting it on your own, trying to build something for yourself and your family, I'm talking to you. Yeah. So what you took an L? Everybody fall down sometimes, man. Get up, shake that shit off. Keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You a hustler. If he gave up, it wasn't me. Not in a hustler's pedigree. I knew the path that I had chosen wasn't free, nor should it be. A real leader's gonna stand up, give his friends a helping hand up. If he get one, then he got one. From the Lambo to the Phantom, only if it's just legit. All 366, he only swing for the fence. Legit hustlers never miss. Belt the ass, I got a list. Rub me wrong, you get your itch. Pop out, I hope you got a wish. Like the genie in this dish. Hustlers and suck, never mix. Real is real, so don't forget. That is that and this is this. On the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? You dig? Yeah. That is that and this is this. It's on the real hustle shit that we kick, you dig? Yeah, like I said, man, this legit hustle. Tales of a Hustler 3. You know what I'm saying? For the hustlers, man. The go-getters. You know, people out there getting it on their own. Yeah. If that's you, welcome. Tales of a Hustler 3. Here's your homie, legit hustle. Yeah, man. Speaking for the hustlers, man. No matter where you came from, you can be from the streets, you can be Ivy League, you can be a stockbroker, man. You can be just a regular dude, man, selling fruit on the corner. I don't care, man. If you're a hustler, you know you're a hustler. It's in you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. Yeah.
I've worked too hard to stop now. But it seems like every time I turn around, it's somebody hating. I need to ride. Yo, yeah.
Rest in peace, nigga.
Yo, man, this one goes out to everybody out there getting it on it. You know what I'm saying? However you getting paid, how you paying your bills, hopefully it's legit. You know what I'm saying? But even if it ain't, do the best you can, you know what I'm saying? And get it on your own. Yeah, West Coast, slow motion. Waking up the morning views of the ocean, freshen up your swag, roll up your neck back, 40 on your hip, dip to the west side. Between the trees and the breeze is where you reside. You let the 6-4 dip slow side to side. The good life, no longer stressing on that hood stripe. Your kids best, you can't flex, they doing all right. On top of that, today you rhyme with your lady. Yep, that's your baby, play with her, they must be crazy. Had the hood going crazy when them shop doors open. Time cuts in the city, that's what you been promoting. It's clear to see that every real G is positively, so community, productivity, that's the slogan. Pushing back on the forces, trying to stop us growing. They can't hold you back. When the door of opportunity opens up for you like a Cadillac, you ain't having that. You came too far to try and travel back. And plus that's way too whack. So when the plans stay rolling and the dope keep folding while your life unfolding, then you plans go. Never mind the haters can't make or break you. Where will hustle take you when your faith don't forsake you? Yeah, it feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS and rare when life ends. You stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you walking on your own and turn BS and rare when life ends. You stones. But don't expect it to be easy breezy. Besides being cheesy, it's slightly greasy like an Eskimo trying to sell your bro that don't love the pole. His ass still ain't free. The truth is you take the good with the bad. If it's worth it, then on purpose, it ain't easy to be had. But don't let it stop you, cause unless they pop you, then you gotta know the wind's already in the bag. It takes thick skin to walk amongst men that don't comprehend the grind that you're living in. Unfortunately, it usually proves to be negativity from friends and your family. But when you focus, you can't get caught slipping. You cool ranch while you dipping. Fly with eagles, not chickens, and you bound to see between you and me that there's no enemies. And yes, success is proof. Me, I'm still noodle flowing in the booth. If you need more proof, go and check me mirror, cause it couldn't be clearer that you're bound for the top. So stay on your grind and don't you dare ever stop it. When the roadblocks, act like mad cops, that only means you're just a mirror, homie, just watch. Ain't no need to be silent when you're made of iron. And for winners like you, there's no such thing as trying. It feels good when you're getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS and bread when life gives you stones. It feels good when you getting it on your own. Pushing fly wheels, putting families in, fly home. But you gotta stay strong when you're walking on your own and turn BS to bread when life gives you stones. And there you have it. You know what I'm saying? This goes out to everybody out there getting it on their own. Like I said, you over there, feel me? The fade, all the barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, massage parlors, dentist office, you feel me? Soul food, restaurants, whatever you do, man. You work for yourself, it's your anthem right here, man. It's my salute to you.
I see you
Get it on your own. And if you employ other people, you're a real life hero. You know what I'm saying?
Salute.
Yeah. Keep getting it on your own.
Omni Beats.
I work